Hey guys, welcome back to the How to Build series where we're going through every single champion in the game, and I'm putting together a quick reference guide for newer players who need a little guidance, want to know how to build someone, how to use them, where to use them, things like that. I will not be doing masteries in these videos or late game builds because they get a little convoluted and can be kind of specific depending on how you want to use a particular champ. So, that being said, let's jump into it with Siegebreaker. He is a rare attacker in the Ogren tribe. He's got decent HP. What I'm noticing across the board in the Ogren tribe is that regardless of their type, they seem to have pretty nice base HP. They seem to be kind of designed to be a little tougher than your typical attacker. Just something I've noticed as I've gone through these. Base attack's fine. He breaks the 1200 mark, so it's not super high, but it's not like super low. It's kind of run-of-the-mill for attackers. Speed's a little on the low side, but we'll take a look at his kit and see maybe if that's going to be a big deal. First skill, attacks one enemy 2 times. Nothing super special going on there. It's just a double hitter. I guess that gives him a little bit of early game Fire Knight utility straight out of the gate. Other than that, nothing insane going on. Second skill, attacks one enemy. Has an 80% chance of placing a block cooldown skills debuff for 1 turn if the attack is critical. So, I mean, this is nice. This is a nice little bonus when it lands, but it's generally not going to be the meta, and you're generally not going to be counting on it. Now, it is an 80% chance, so he'll land it frequently if you have any accuracy on him, but I don't know that I would build around this debuff, if that makes sense. I don't know that if I would stack accuracy on him at the cost of some attack or speed or crit rate or something like that, just for a block cooldown debuff. So let's see what the other skill has. Places a 30% increased crit rate buff on this champ for 2 turns, then attacks all enemies. Has a 50% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 30% if the attack is critical. Now this skill's really dope, actually. This is a really nice skill. It's an AoE turn meter reduction that's pretty substantial. It's reliant on him critting, to an extent anyway, and it's a crit rate buffs. So by default, if you don't put another point of crit rate on him, when he uses this skill, he's got a 45% chance of critting, which is not terrible, right? So, %50 chance of decreasing. So the way that's worded, generally you do need accuracy for turn meter reduction. Has a 50% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 30% if this attack is critical. So if it's a crit, then it has a 50% chance to proc, which I guess then would still need accuracy. So we do want some accuracy on him. So what we want to talk about here, as far as sets go, we're looking at attack sets, we're looking at speed sets, we're looking at crit rate sets, and we're looking at accuracy sets. So I'm going to talk about the gear a little bit, and whatever gear you have available to you to focus the stats that we need to focus, those are the 4 sets that I think we're going to want to be looking in, okay? So for a case like his, I don't think it's a bad idea to go crit rate on the gloves. Generally, earlier in the game, I'm going to tell you to not worry about crit rate and crit damage because it adds more stats to have to gear for, makes it more difficult, and you're generally going to be sacrificing something important to do it. So generally, I tell you attack percentage early on. In his case, since he's got something that's kind of reliant on crit, go ahead and just go crit rate on your gloves, attack percentage on your armor, and then probably speed on your boots because his base speed is a little low. And then the stats that you're going to want to be focusing on for him, again, are attack, speed, crit rate, accuracy. Accuracy is going to be pretty important. And then if you can find it in the subs without sacrificing a bunch of other things, crit damage will be a nice bump to have since we're focusing crit rate on him. But just worry about his attack, speed, crit rate, and accuracy, and do it with whatever you have at your disposal in the sets that I mentioned. And then as far as where to use him, I think in dungeons, I think he's going to be like a nice dungeon / campaign crawler for you. I don't know. like so, some of it could be useful. This could be useful in earlier game arena, like this skill. If you've got enough speed on him, could be useful in earlier game arena. Landing a block cooldown skills on someone could be nice in earlier game arena. Like maybe the shaman. A lot of people use shaman early on, and she revives. You could try to put this on her to keep her from reviving. Things like that. So he's got some fun utility in earlier game arena. But I think just using him in dungeons for the AoE and the turn reduction will be fun. He's a nice, fun little attacker that brings a little bit of crowd control in a way to the fights. So it is a shame that it's on a 5-turn cooldown, but if you pull a few of him, I wouldn't give him skilled tomes, but if you pull a few of them and can get that down to a 4-turn cooldown, I think he'd be a fun little champ. You know, he's not. I don't think he's going to change the game much. I think you'll eventually pull someone that's going to phase him out, but he is fun to use if you've got him and you like him and you want to put him to use. That's how I would recommend putting him to use. So if you have any questions about anything, drop them below. If you have any comments on Siegebreaker, of course, drop them below. Always happy to have more information down in the comments. Other than that, I hope it was helpful. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.